Welcome back, everybody, to the Ami community, the family, FAMILY community, for season 2 of the Ami Athletics podcast. I mean, it's crazy that we got to season 2. I didn't think anyone wanted to listen to us, but here we are, people listening to us.
Hey, listen, guys, are a bunch of interesting.
Everybody. We built a following. So first of all, welcome back, everybody, to everybody that's watching. We took a break and now we're back. We have a lot of exciting things. I don't know if you guys, anybody who didn't watch the games, we have a lot of cool new animations. We ended off the last season with Richie's diagrams of what the new building is going to look like, what the future of Ami is going to look like.
Beautiful.
So we have a lot of things. We have a lot of things in the work. We have a lot of things being worked on in terms of programs, kids programs, adult programs, barbecues, whatever, stuff like that. But that's for another time. But I just want to really get into it. We have a special guest over here who we didn't get a chance to interview last season, because he wasn't in the league last season after being in the basketball league for 7, 8, 9, 10 seasons in a row.
I would say about 4 seasons, yeah.
4 seasons, and then you took a break.
Yeah.
And then you came back.
Yeah.
So first, just outside, I mean, I introduced you. I don't like doing this to introduce you through the basketball lens, but outside of the basketball lens, introduce yourself, your name, your number, your social security, how tall you are, if you're single or not.
So my name's Eli Matatov, 28 years old. Currently live in Kew Garden Hills, right off Main Street. Single, looking to get married. I work as a
single. If anybody wants, his shidduch resume, richierich@gmail.com.
Richie, let me know. Hit me up. But work as a registered nurse currently, Monday to Friday. So if anybody needs any medical assistance in Ami, I'm there.
What category in nurse? Like what?
I'm a psychiatric mental health nurse.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we do a lot of therapy there.
What do you mean? As a nurse, you do therapy?
It's a part of my job. It's a part of my daily responsibility, where we offer therapy there. I also do psychiatric injections. So
what is that?
Any clients that are placed on monthly injections to keep them stable, I'm the one that administers them.
So you see all the crazies.
Well, at my clinic, thankfully, a lot of them are stable.
Why?
Already.
Wait, why did you say if anyone in Ami needs any help, I can help?
Well, and I meant.
We're not-
1 second. I meant medically.
Like, I thought if someone sprained an ankle, like
Yeah, that's what I meant.
now we're getting to injections for the brain. Like, what's
If anyone
going on
needs
over
an
here?
injection for your schizophrenia, I got you, bro. Thank you, Zach. Okay, yeah.
Well,
Keep
Zach,
going,
I
I'm
did it.
sorry.
I don't like the register nurse part.
Well, Zach, I did include the word medically. So there were a couple of guys. For example, Jason went down bad game 1. It was hard to see. And like I said, medically speaking, if anybody needs help and I'm there, you guys already know why I'm there, basically.
If anyone's having a panic attack or is
If it's
hearing
on the psych
voices,
side, if it's on the psych side, I provide those
If
services.
anybody
too.
comes to a game with cold feet and is nervous, just go to him. He'll give you an injection. It'll be good to go.
but do you see any crazy stories in your practice?
No, thankfully no, because a lot of them are referrals from the hospital, and a lot of them are placed on the injections, which keep them stable and baseline. So we don't really see people, overreacting or going crazy.
It's a very stable practice.
It's a very stable environment. That's usually happening in the hospital, where they're unstable.
Post psych ward, they come to you.
Correct.
And one
Correct.
second, and these people come into your psych ward, and do you like your job? You like where you're
I actually
working?
do, yes, I have great coworkers. The clients are amazing. They have, they're regular people. They have work. They have kids. They're married.
It's crazy, and these people are all stable. They all come in and they all seem stable to you, right?
Correct.
But you read their rap sheet and they're like,
Right,
what's some of the crazy things you read over there?
I have patients with schizophrenia.
No, diagnosed. You read on the paper
diagnosed,
schizophrenia.
Correct. People coming from domestic abuse. It's, what it is? It's a lot of trauma in people's life. I think in the last 20 years, we started really going into trauma. Before that, we really didn't, as we know from our Soviet parents. They don't know what trauma is, right? They came over here to be disciplined, strong, backboned. I think that's where we get our foundation from. But coming to America and I guess realizing on a day-to-day basis, how things work, I think we started delving into trauma and how that
its
affects
effect.
us. Correct. Yeah.
I mean, okay, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there for me at least.
There's
but
a lot to unpack.
but
for
we
both
only
of us,
but
yeah.
we only
All
have
of
50
us.
minutes. So I just want to just more user friendly. Like when these people come in, let's say with schizophrenia or whatever it is, are you? If I saw them in the street, would I be able to tell, or they're so well? Like I don't want to use the word medicated, but they're so well adjusted
hmm
that they can function in everyday life as a normal human being. Like, are we there medically that we can get people with I don't know what the level 5 mental disorders
hmm
and have the capability and technology and the medicine
hmm
to get them to function and to get married and to have
hmm
kids and procreate and blah blah blah? Would I be able to tell a guy if he's sitting over here if he has schizophrenia?
Honestly, you won't be able to tell sometimes.
No way.
Yes, but I will tell you, there is no cure in this field to any of these things. There's ways to tackle the challenges, right? We don't only deal with schizophrenics. We also deal with people with major depressive disorder, bipolar, right? Manic disorders.
Do these things happen from the start when they're born, or they come about afterwards?
So some of them are genetically passed down. Some of them are based off trauma. A lot of it is actually from trauma. Actually, interesting fact, we still don't know as to why schizophrenia, how people contract schizophrenia. We still don't know the etymology
saying
of
I
it.
that-
thought
that is trauma
I
related?
thought that's more.
Well, studies suggest that trauma has a major impact on it, but it's still not,
Is there
not
a
one plus one.
is there a
you know?
common denominator on what kind of trauma? Like let's say verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. Is there a common denominator in what kind of trauma, or just trauma?
Well-
Since trauma is relative, it could be any kind of trauma.
Yeah, it could be any kind of trauma. Obviously, the more severe the trauma, the more severe the impact on that person, right? And eventually they could, have mental illnesses if they don't have a supporting cast, right, around their life. They don't have people that love them, show them appreciation. They're not taught self-discipline as well,
Is there like an average age of where you see in your practice people get diagnosed with these like serious mental health disorders, like at age 11 because, or you meaning like a lot of times you said they go through trauma, so there's a common age of like, okay, they went through trauma at whatever age, and like
Right.
usually at 11, at 15, at 20.
Mhm.
What age? Like I actually have a friend who his brother, he actually lives in Queens. You know them. But I went to school with them, high school with them. He has an older brother, normal guy, okay? Like really actually a normal guy. Went to school and everything. And one day he snapped from stress. I don't know what it is exactly. He snapped. He became a full-on schizophrenic. And he lives in Israel right now in a home. And he's a full-blown schizophrenic. But he was a normal guy. And it could lay dormant in your body, right? I'm saying it
Yes.
could lay dormant, and it could be it's anything like they say all these scary stories of a guy took shrooms and it got exposed. A guy went through an extreme stress and it got exposed, whatever. So honestly, that's mad scary. So how do you know if you have it?
Well, if it's affecting your daily life,
Now, how do you know if you have this dormant like bipolar, schizophrenic, depression?
well, you don't really know until you start realizing
Until it
that
happens.
you may,
All right, that's
you may
cool, guys.
have
All
it.
right,
Yeah, guys, get,
Yeah.
everyone get nervous.
Everyone get
Yeah.
really nervous. Yeah.
I mean, I think there's more factors also which aren't being discussed, which is why is this generation seeing so many cases of snapping, right? The mental health here. I tell this to my wife all the time. She's a social worker. She's gonna be a therapist. There's the right, there's the left, and there's the middle path. The Rambam tells us to be in the middle path. And we're gonna get to this in basketball soon with the black team. When you get so burnt out of one system and you kind of go to the extreme opposite, there's gonna be holes there too. And I think that this overexposure of discussing mental health is causing problems also in our community. And I'm not saying
Not in our community is
Well,
still on
because
the archaic end of it.
we're still on the lower end of discussing. Mental health is great, but it has to be in the middle path.
Yes,
If
yes.
you're gonna go through life focusing on problems and the abuse you had as a child and all this other stuff, you're just gonna live a life
You're gonna
full of suffering and full of, hey, my life sucks. You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty much what a liberal does. So I think it has
Are you
to be.
a conservative or a liberal?
I am neutral, but I think that listen, therapy is great. Mental health is great. I'm not discrediting that. It's amazing. I think we have to come together as towards a middle path. And I do want to ask something to you. Well, first to you. these major symptoms, bipolar, schizophrenia. I mean, that's a little harder, but bipolar, are these things reversible? Because if something comes from a
No.
trauma, so they're not reversible.
Well, it depends. For example, something like schizophrenia may not be reversible. Bipolar is on the same spectrum. A person would have to be medicated for the rest of their life. And again, if a person does therapy, and I'm a firm believer in therapy, even though we give medication and stuff like that, I think that's not as important as therapy.
It's interesting. I mean, you say it as a basic,
Yeah.
and it seems like a basic that a person with schizophrenia should be in therapy. But it's really not so basic. Like if a person has a fever, why should they go to therapy? Schizophrenia is, yes, it's a mental disorder, but why, if they're being medicated and treated for it, why do they necessarily need to be in therapy?
Because
Well, that goes back to my question. That's really what I'm trying to get at over here. Is this something that's a genetic, or is this something that came from trauma, which is now, okay, let's try to fix the trauma and hopefully get back to where we can? Or is it like, hey, you know what? It did come from trauma, irrelevant of genetics, or maybe it played a part, but the reality is that once it snaps, you snap and you're done. You know what I mean?
yes,
I mean, you're a big believer, I know, I am too, in Sarno, and once you
Yes.
kind of unpack certain things, you can,
Yes.
there's a lot of evidence about that. So I want to know, based on your experience, is it possible to get to that place back, or is it just done and finished?
no. I think, and to kind of answer your questions, I know exactly what you guys are saying. I would say that, it's therapy is there to really, help a person go through that trauma that they've gone through in their life, to kind of also get them back on their feet, making sure that, they get the proper assistance to, conduct their daily life without their condition being in the way. And I think that's what really therapy does. And I'm a firm believer that in a way everyone should get therapy. But there's different forms of therapy, right? For example, some people who need some more intensive therapy, they'll go to a therapist, they'd sit for an hour once a week, they will talk about, their issues. But, I'm a big spokesman for Hasidus, right? That's a big part of my life. And my form of therapy is Hitbodedut. That's what I do. I do Hitbodedut. I speak to Hashem. It could be 5 minutes a day. It could be an hour a day. Prayer is a form of therapy, right? Talking to your friends is a form of therapy, right? Speaking to your spouse is a form of therapy.
I mean, therapy just means healing if you
Correct.
want to be technical. So yes, a lot of these things are just a form, being able to process it.
Mhm.
Spotted is about the idea of releasing and trusting. Having a muna is a very big form of therapy, of that you're allowing yourself to give up control is a huge form of the mental health development, right? And that's what despotism is. If I'm giving up control, I know I'm not in control. I'm giving up in control, and that ultimately, actually, the paradox is that puts me in control,
Right.
right? So that's a little bit of the paradox.
And to kind of follow up on what you're saying, I saw a study. I don't remember the exact numbers of the study, but they took two groups of people. One believed in a higher power or God, and the other did not believe in anything. They were atheists. And they saw, and again, I'm not sure how they conducted the study, but they found that the people who believed in God or a higher power were more happier in life as opposed to those who didn't.
100%. I mean, if you don't believe in God, you're not better than a cow in the or some rat in the street. In reality,
Why?
because
I mean, I agree with you. I just
no, I'll explain it. I'll explain it. If you're just something that came into being, a mouse is like that also. A cat is like that also, which is why liberals are so obsessive about carrying over animals more than people, because we're the same. There's nothing intrinsic about us that makes us better than an animal.
It's funny. You're right. I was speaking to somebody who also didn't believe in God. So, and you say, okay, we're a product of evolution, right? So now there's all sorts of refutations to that. Even for all the people who do believe in evolution, you can DM me. Darwin himself, and you guys can look this up in one of his essays. Darwin himself said that in the next 50 years, if there's no irrefutable proof that evolution exists, all my work goes to whatever. All my work goes to waste. And there's a missing link and blah, 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 but whatever. But to the people who believe that we are animals, it's like, okay, fine. So if I'm an animal and they're an animal, why is it justifiable for me to eat chicken, right? I'm killing another
Yeah,
animal.
that's why they're vegan.
No, they're not vegan though.
saying a lot of atheists.
No,
are
they're not.
vegan.
No, they're not.
A lot of people. Okay, a lot of people who are vegan are atheists. Let's leave it. That
Okay,
way.
fine. But if you believe that we're a product of evolution, what gives you the right to go and kill an animal and eat it? If you're an animal and you're an animal and that's an animal, why am I not allowed to kill you and kill the chicken?
100%.
Right? Because we have a form of consciousness, but maybe the chicken has a form of consciousness and just can't communicate it. Right? Meaning it makes no sense. And don't get me into the quantum entanglement part of it.
We'll leave that to a different discussion.
No, but actually it is whatever. It's actually crazy. If you really look into the quantum entanglement, it's gonna blow your mind. Because the idea
What is quantum for all the people, normal people out there? What is quantum entanglement?
You guys ready for this?
Yeah, let's get into it.
I think so.
It's good. 30 seconds or less.
If
Go
you
for
can do it in 30 seconds or less, I'll give you an award.
You ready?
Go for it.
Okay.
I'm ready. Go.
So now there's this theory that they were able to measure two particles on opposite sides of the world. Okay. Now, two atoms, let's say, on opposite sides of the world. So let's say there's, I don't want to use scientific explanation terminology. Let's use the glove terminology, which is a famous one in the science world. Imagine you take a glove, you take two gloves and you put them in a box, you close them, you send one to Tokyo, one to New York. Okay, now while the box is closed, okay, this is the crazy thing about quantum entanglement. While the box is closed, the gloves don't exist. Okay? Wait. While the box is closed, the gloves don't exist according to science.
Right.
Once you open the box, both gloves start to exist as white gloves. Okay? And now they share similar properties of they're both white, they're both made of cotton, they both absorb wetness the same way, even though they were made in different factories, they're on different sides of the world, they have nothing to do with each other. When one glove gets dirty, if I pour coffee on this glove in Tokyo, the one in New York gets dirty, also in the same spot. So they're like, yo, how are these gloves transmitting such information so quickly because it's faster than the speed of light? So Einstein was just like, yo, honestly, this is like, he wasn't into this. He's like, this is something weird is going on. I'm not into this. But they researched this more and they called this the quantum entanglement, that there's this form that when these, if these atoms or let's say gloves have similar properties and you open the box and they get connected, I don't know how they get connected, but once they have this quantum entanglement, they share this level of consciousness, and we believe it. Like we believe this in Kabbalah, that when whatever for all the
Wait, what's the proof that they share something?
they measure these, they measure the atoms, and they start to share similarities and characteristics in terms of the neutrons and the protons and how they move within its circle or whatever. They are identical in how they move. And they could be on opposite sides of the world. They could be light years away, meaning it's not, there's no distance. We're all really connected. That's the point of it.
But it's the same
We're
glove.
all
What do you mean?
really, huh?
It's the same glove twice, right?
Yes.
So now one's here and one's here.
Yes.
You're telling me that it's the same thing. Correct.
That
What do they share? I'm not understanding.
One second. What I'm really trying to say in this quantum entanglement, and it's gonna you guys ready for this? That there is really no space between anything.
I've
Okay.
actually heard this before.
Space
This is
and
wild.
space and time don't actually exist. Meaning, the particle here and the particle here, it's all one particle. Space can only be measured. I mean, I'm gonna probably lose half of you on this, but space can only be measured by time. If there was no such thing as time, there would be no such thing as space. Because how do I know? The only way I know that my fingers are far apart is because of time.
Correct.
But if there's no time,
Yeah.
how do I know how long it takes for me to get?
You can't measure it.
You can't measure it. Okay, whatever. If you know, you know. So now,
You know what
Real-
it sounds like? You know when you're scrolling on YouTube and you hear this random sound?
no, but this,
and you're
What
like,
has like 1 million likes, right?
yeah, what did I just like?
no, but this.
Like, where's the basketball clip? Just like skip it. Like this is what it sounds like.
Scrolling. Keep
But one
scrolling.
second, and I'll tell you why. If you believe in if you study quantum entanglement and you study this stuff, it almost hits you in the face of like, yo, we're all connected, and this is like what we learn in first grade in yeshiva. Of like,
Echad b'lei echad. There you go.
but even more than that, like Am Echad, like we're one nation. That means like why do we put so much effort on Kirov? Why do I care if you right? This idea of Mashiach, right? Why do I care if you do mitzvos?
Why does it affect me?
Why does it affect me? If anything, God will love me more. Like, you don't keep Shabbos, like, peace.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
God's
I got
gonna
more
love
merit
me
than
more.
you.
Yeah, I got more merit than you.
Actually,
Why?
a funny point.
Yeah, like, why do I care if you keep Shabbos? Why am I gonna go donate money, my money that I earned for some Ami organization to bring kids closer? What do I give a damn about? Why do I care about that?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Kabbalistically in Judaism, we believe that everybody's connected, that really God is a part of all of us,
Yes.
and that really there's no space between us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're all, our neshamas, our stream of consciousness, we're all really connected in the end
All
of the
one
day.
spark from
Yes.
God, which
Correct.
is the same spark.
Exactly.
So I'm sorry to say this, but the idiots and the retards and the degenerates who make lines in the sand, Bukharian, Ashkenaz, Sephardi, whatever, Tashkent, Navinsky, you're really like you're a degenerate. You lack IQ if you, like, by not understanding basic humanity, that God created us, all
Yeah.
humanity, as one people. Now,
I mean,
there's
it's more just for traditions. I mean, if you take it to excessively, yes, you're right.
yeah, but
You
but
start
but
hating people
but it's
because of what
really
they do, it's a little
but I'm
excessive.
saying on a technical level, any intelligent person who's watching this, understand and look at yourself in the mirror. If you ever separated and drew a line in the sand between you and your Jewish neighbor, you're an idiot. I'm sorry to say this, but you're an idiot. We're all one. We're all part of one bigger picture of one stream. We all came from one. We're all part of God, who gave us the neshama, soul, and we're all really part of one bigger picture, and we're all connected.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Every single time around this year, sorry to cut you off,
Mhm.
there's this like, there's this famous question, right? You guys can see my beard. I don't like this. I don't do it out of choice. It's the Omer, obviously. And there's always that question. Okay, so you're like, they didn't have respect, right? 24,000 students died, or students, they didn't have respect. What's the big deal? Like, I mean, the other question is, how could that be? But the other question is, okay, like, is that really such a big deal? Or like, we don't have the base minutes for already 2,000 years. It's sinas chinam. Like, I got, like, you know what I'm saying? The fact that you have to explain it excessively in school, whatever, just shows the obvious question. It's not really such a big deal. But when you look at it through this lens, it's like, wait a second. If your identity is crushed, then what do you really have?
Right.
If we don't understand that we're one nation, one, and everyone's gonna have their own thing. Everyone makes fun of everything, right? If you're Hasidish, you make fun of the liftbox. If you're Breslov, you make fun of Bukhari. Like, it's just, you have to kind of like do it in a sense, which
And
is
it's
wrong.
so dumb. It
makes no
dumb.
sense.
It's
It makes
so
no
dumb.
sense.
I'm telling you, the people that do it, stop. You sound like an idiot.
And to kind of like add to what you guys were saying, it's up to us, those with elevated consciousness who understand these things. It's up to us to educate the communities, to kind of, because essentially, we all have godliness in us, right? And by elevating the other person, right, we're elevating God's name, we're elevating everything to God. And I think it's very important. And I think once we have Agdas, that's why we always say that, Mashiach will come if we all unite with all these like different things. If Jews keep Shabbat, right, 1 or 2 Shabbats, the Mashiach is going to come and all these different things. If we stay united, we are unstoppable as a nation. And just another thing to add in terms of like how things are going on right now around the world. I used to live in Israel for a long time. I still visit Israel every couple of years. I'm an Israeli citizen. So Israel's right here for me. And a lot of these things are happening. It's not because we're supposed to be pointing fingers at the other nations. We're really supposed to be pointing the fingers at ourselves. All these things are happening because we are lacking the example that we ought to be for the rest of the nations.
So no Jews for Palestine.
Peace
I
for
will-
everybody.
I will
Love and peace
gladly-
for everybody. Definitely. Love and peace for everybody.
No, but we need to be united.
Yes.
And I think also it's funny. I was in a car the other day, and I was we were driving by this non-kosher pizza store, and I see a Bukharian guy I know waiting online. I'm like, hey, he's not religious. But then I see this guy's wearing tzitzis.
Mhm.
No kippah, tzitzis, waiting online to order non-kosher pizza. I was like a little confused. What the hell just happened over here?
Yeah.
And then I was like telling my friend, I'm like, you know what probably happened? This guy probably went to a shir, or his rabbi told him, why don't you just wear tzitzis? And he's like, well, I don't need this. And then I was like, what do you care? Just wear tzitzis. It's good for you. He's like, you know what, Rabbi, for you, I'm going to work on my relationship with God. I'm going to put on my tzitzis.
Hold on.
And then this guy, he's doing the right thing, right? He's climbing the ladder. And to most religious people, we look at this guy and we judge him and make him feel like a piece of garbage for ordering non-kosher pizza. Like, we have to take things into perspective. Everyone has a fight. And I think this goes back to your conversation. It's very important also not to judge you see a guy, let's say, with depression, or you see a guy with these mental
Anxiety.
problems, anxiety, whatever it is. You see people mental, and you start judging like, hey, pull your act together.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like figure it out. You know, if something's like, figure it out. But sometimes it's just like what a person went through. It could be the first step of figuring it out. It's starting to acknowledge the suffering, and then all of a sudden the depression comes, and that's part of figuring it out.
Correct.
So I think we have to show grace and be forgiving and not judgmental to
Yes.
people. And everyone has their own story. That's the bottom line. Everyone has their own story. You know what I mean?
Be a little bit more compassionate, guys.
Exactly.
I mean, it's this week's parsha. I mean, it's this week's parsha. It's also the Sphere Omer of like just love, Honestly, we 24,000 Talmidim died
Correct.
because of lack of love.
Yeah.
This week's parsha Kedoshim Tiyu, which is probably one of the most famous quotes in Judaism.
Yeah.
You should Kedoshim Tiyu, for those, you shall be holy. God says you shall be holy. So now all the rabbis spilled gallons and gallons and gallons of ink throughout history of like, okay, you shall be holy, but how? What does that mean? You shall be holy. How? By speaking into a microphone, by drinking water. How do you be holy? So they all spilled a lot of ink. Be holy this way, be holy this way. But I think the common denominator in terms of being holy, and we learned this from, where the word holy comes from in terms of hektish is about separating yourself. It's about understanding, and it doesn't mean separating yourself from everything, but just small understanding that, hey, tzitzis is for me. Okay, I'm not part of those people that don't wear tzitzis. Now, you could do whatever you want. You want to go to a non-kosher restaurant. I'm not saying you're allowed to. But just understanding small steps of I want to elevate myself, right? And in our society, elevating yourself puts you at a certain standard of separating yourself. And that is ultimately what makes a person holy. Now, it could be the smallest thing. It doesn't have to be becoming Rav Avadia Yosef. It just could be wearing a kippah. It could be
It's
thinking,
the smallest things that matter.
yeah, it could be talking to God, to yourself in your room for 3 seconds.
Which
That's
is a mitzvah of tefillah, by the way.
Yeah.
yes,
Nothing
like his
tefillah is
podidus.
davening 3 times.
And 1 second, and I want to say something. His podidus doesn't mean going deep into a
To the
field
forest,
and
yeah.
screaming. His
Correct.
podidus, Shmona Esrei technically is his podidus. His podidud, if you want to be Sfari. Hit podidud.
Yeah. We call it hidbo. That's what we say. Hidbo.
So everyone has their own version, and it could just be talking to God and really resonating with Hashem that He's there for you, and that whatever He's there for you, and He can really help you through anything anyone can go through, and just connecting to God and understanding. It's funny. And I'm gonna leave off with this because we're running out of time, but. I heard actually from my Rebbe Rav Bloy the idea of connecting to God is a little bit flawed in essence. Okay, and it's going to get a little bit trivial for a second based on what we said before. Connecting to God implies that we're separated from God, but really we're a part of God. So how does that make sense? Right? Where God took His part of Himself and put a soul in our body. Now the question is, do we really exist up there? And it's a projection down here. Story for another time.
For another time, yeah.
Yeah. But really, we're a part of Him. So so whatever. I mean, they spill a lot, but they spill a lot of also ink about how it works. We're a part of Him. We're not part of Him. Our goal, blah blah. But the idea is that we're really a part of God.
Mm-hmm.
We have godliness in us, like you were saying before.
It's just we're in a physical body.
We're in a physical body, so we have to elevate our
things
physical.
pulling us in different directions, and it gets complicated. But with that,
We
will get on to
Ami Athletics.
the first week, opening week power rankings, guys.
First of all, I just want to say, how does it feel to be back?
It feels great. We had a great first game as a team.
We're gonna talk about that on your team because there's a lot to talk about.
I guess we'll
there.
get into it.
He came back.
Why are you
with a
smiling?
bang.
We had a good game.
Before we get to the power rankings, we're gonna start something new. We're gonna have Player of the Week.
Player
of the Week. This week's Player of the Week. I mean,
And by the way, one second. Disclaimer, sorry. Zachy chose the player of the week.
I chose the
Not
player of the
me,
week.
not Ellie,
Yeah.
not the board.
Zachy.
It was Zachy.
But well deserved.
All complaints, ZachAndNisanov@gmail.com.
Any complaints, please go to richierich@gmail.com and message him there. Do not forward anything to me. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, player of the week.
Player of the week, we're going to go with Eliran Aminov. I mean, they were supposed to get blown out. They played the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a picture of Michelle? Can we get a picture of Eliran?
We're going to get highlights and clips.
Or just show Clay Thompson.
I mean, did you see that block he had on Avi Rubinov?
Wow.
It's up there with the block with Abe Kandachorov and Gabi Hafizov. It might even be better.
We're not allowed to talk about that. Now Abe's on my team.
Oh, he's on your team now. He can't talk.
I'll tell you one thing about Eliran. If he puts his 100 into a game, into anything that he
Oh,
does.
you won a championship with him.
They won a
Yeah, we won a
championship in Orange.
together. If there's one thing that I know about Eliran, when he puts his 100, he gets things done.
Yeah, he carried his team.
Give it a
45
buck.
points and 15 rebounds. So definitely, he deserved it. Well deserved.
Well deserved, yeah.
On to number team 16. Guys, don't take this personally, please. To all you guys watching at home, please do not take this personally. I don't mean I got to put someone in 16. So, this is not anything personal. It's just my opinion. Obviously, you have the potential to get out of it. Number 16, we're going to go with light green. Shlomi Elishayev's team. I will say that before the season started, I think they were more like you had to put them at 16, but really they were like 30. Yeah, it was that bad. They made a trade. They got Coach Avi, Ozzy. They got some players. They did upgrade. They're still at 16. They got blown out by the one and only coach. I mean, they also got outcoached big time. They're going to have to find a way to move the ball.
They have a coach.
Who's their coach?
They have a coach.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Coach Avi, though.
No. They
different
they have another guy that's a coach.
They need better coaching then because the ball didn't move. You guys played a high zone and the ball did not move. So someone's going to have to decide, hey, I'm going to be the guy who takes 0 shots a game and is going to move the ball on that team. Because if the ball doesn't move and you play against a high zone, it's just game over. It's going to cause 1 million turnovers and very poor shots. It's not going to work. So, but you know what? I will say this. They're a competitive 16. They can win games. They can make the playoffs. They got better. It's Shlomi's first time as a captain. I think he'll improve. He's a great leader. I think he'll figure it out. Number 15, we're going to go with Pink. Some people want to call them Barney, Barbie, however you want to categorize
on
them.
the brighter side,
but
for sure.
I mean, I was they played red, and that was probably one of the worst games I've seen. Disaster. And I told Shmuel Nisanov after yesterday. I told him, I said, you know who won that game? You guys. They lost on a buzzer, but I said you guys won the game because you guys can look in the mirror now and say, what the hell happened? Red is looking, hey, we won. We're okay. No, you guys both played horribly. It was hard to watch. I was there watching the game, like, what just happened over here?
Mm-hmm.
I had to leave after the first half. I watched a little bit at home. I mean, big shout out to Sam Shalamov, Jay Shal's younger
109.
Now, pick number 109 with the buzzer
Wow.
to win the game. It was the worst game I've seen till 17 seconds left. Mike Drive hit a wild 3.
Yeah,
and
he's
then
a very
Eric
good player.
Matayev had a 2, and then back to Sam. Daniel Yusuf missed the layup, and Sam with the rebound win the game. Crazy game, crazy ending. But
That was the only close game this week.
yes, and it was the worst game this week, which is just wild. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the reality. I do think that Pink can figure it out, though. It's not a knock on them. I'm gonna say this: from 16 to, I would say, 10, 11 is going to be interchangeable. They're not that bad. It's pretty. They can move up very easily. It's just chemistry, guys. Teal was at number 14 last year, and all the heat I get, even Teal would admit, if they weren't 14, they were 12. They were horrible. There was no ball movement.
Yeah, in the beginning,
When you
they had a
figure
rough
out your
start.
chemistry, you will start winning games. So forget your talent. I can shoot. I can just pass the ball. We've seen enough in this league. Chemistry wins games. At number 14, we're going to go with Green. Pretty... I mean, it sounds weird. Yeah.
No, I'm saying I'm just... I'm just...
You're getting memories, right? Memories.
They disrespected your color last night. Or this week.
Not my color anymore.
It was. And Green became known as like, you're playing a scary team. You know what I mean? It's like if Boston decided to go 1 year like last place. It doesn't make sense. They have to be good. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You think they can figure it out, Yosef and Gabi Yakubov?
I think they're two phenomenal players, to be honest. But at the end of the day, I think every team has a way to figure out. For example, you were saying Teal last year. In the beginning, they didn't figure out. I don't think we should judge any team right now when they look like they're still trying to figure things out because it takes time to build chemistry with the team.
So you think they could? I mean, sometimes with player dynamics, chemistry doesn't come about. Like you look at the Suns, you look at the Sixers, right?
Yeah.
They built super teams, it just didn't pan out.
Right.
They didn't make the playoffs. So sometimes personalities and players
Mhm.
just can't coexist together.
I think Yosef and Gabby could be the ones who punch for that team, and I think they could coexist. They just need some time.
The Aaron Baev kid was not Aaron Baev. Ben Coyner's brother had a good game.
He's good.
He had a good game.
Good.
So I think they had a nice pickup over there. Number 13, we're gonna go with Red. I mean, they won. I guess they're 1-0. They'll take it. But I really hope they're looking in the mirror and saying, "Hey, we screwed up." They started off the game 17-3 with like 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
The score at halftime, I think, was like 23 up or 26-23. They were down. They scored 6 points in the last 14 minutes of the first half. How, you know what I'm saying? Something doesn't add up over here. They need an answer. They need it now because, yes, you won and you're on a high and you know what, thank God you did, but you need to figure out a lot of stuff. Number 12. We're going to go with Gray, your former champion partner, Eliran, with the massive, they were missing Eli Yakubov.
Yeah.
He didn't play.
He's a big piece to that team.
Huge piece. Huge piece. And you know what's funny? They actually were pretty competitive with Navy, which is, in a lot of people's minds, the number one team in the league, definitely top 3. And I said this before, the one weakness I see in Navy, slight weakness, is muscle. Gray has that, and they made a run for the money. It was a close game. Gray is a strong team. They got Moshe Baruchov, Dr. Eliran, Sam
Very
Baruchov.
butch team.
Yeah, like a lot of just like they got
have a lot
muscle
of size.
on them.
They have size, yeah.
And they're gonna hurt you. Like you're gonna have to come prepared.
Yeah. They're gonna hurt you.
They're gonna drive into your chest. They're gonna box you out.
Yeah.
Your Moshe Baruchov is a sweetheart, but when the ball gets dropped, the guy plays 90s ball. He knows how to play, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, I learned from that. I used to play defense like whatever. I'm like, yo, this guy knows how to, like, he'll just do this like in your face. Like that's how you play D.
Right.
Like we got to step up. This is how you really play D. You know. So he's a great defender. I like how he plays.
Yeah.
Number 11, we're gonna go with Yellow. You ever seen this kid better on Baev play?
Yeah. I play with him in the Park Drive East.
Can he carry that team? Because he wasn't there this week. So that I had them at 5 before the season started. They're 11 now. I'm really not sure where to put them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Better Baev's out, unfortunately, for like
For how long?
a month.
What happened? He got injured?
He had an ankle injury, which he'll be fine from. Usually
Bless
ankle
you.
injuries, bless you. Usually ankle injuries, you come back 100% within
I
a
think
month.
Jason played the rest of the game. I mean, not
He
to
had a-
compare
And
ankle
he still
injuries.
had 28, by
There's
the way.
different
Yeah.
levels of ankle. He had a really bad one. It's swollen. We can't step on it. So what do you think about that team?
So I think it's slightly unfair to kind of put the pressure on Ben Arambayev to lead the team. I think he's a rookie in this league. He's a phenomenal talent. When I play with him, I know how to utilize him the proper way. You know, you use the pick and roll, use him as a big. I think he's going to be more of a point guard / ball handler on that team and as an offensive scorer, obviously. But I think he's ought to be utilized more as a big on the inside, be dominant.
He's a good rebounder.
And he's a great rebounder, exactly. Yeah, he has the speed as well. That's what I would say.
Yeah, he reminds me of kind of small LeBron.
Yeah.
A little bit different, but he has that like capabilities. He can rebound. He can take a big, take a small. He has a talent. He's young.
Yeah, I've watched
And-
him play since he was 15 years old. We played together, and I've only been seeing him grow every single year. And his ceiling, he has a lot of potential.
Do you think he has a top 3 ceiling?
Yes.
I'd say so.
I mean, you have Jason, you have Yochananov, right? Yochananov, I'm saying he's huge, 6'4",
Yeah,
whatever.
and he has a
shot. So
exactly.
he has something that it's you
No,
can-
I'm not disagreeing.
you know what I'm
with that.
saying? I think Better
I
Baev.
just think you left somebody out.
I mean, Ariel Israelov on your team. I like the.
Yeah,
He
Ariel's
is. Listen,
phenomenal.
he is. He went third overall. But I'm saying I don't think he would jump over Yochananov without jumping over Israelov first. That's
I don't know. I'm not getting into the politics, but I think Ben Arambayev is a very, very talented.
you think Yellow can get to top 5?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know where to rank them. It's very hard. I'm putting them at 11 because I mean they put up a fight without him. So
Yeah, I
Let's
think
see
that's
what
fair
happens.
for now to put them there for now.
number 10, we're gonna go with White. They beat Green this week. They also, I mean, obviously they traded Coach and Ozzy, but they got back Mike Elishayev.
That's a massive trade.
I think they downgraded a bit in talent, but
Yeah.
in terms of the way to run a team, I think they actually got better. They didn't look like it as much this week. So maybe they're just figuring it out. I don't know. They have Defensive Player of the Year Gabi Hafizov. Well, I mean, I think it's gonna really come down to Mike Elishayev having that maturity to realize, hey, I'm running this team now.
Yeah.
You know, he was Jason's sidekick. He's a great player. He's like a shooting guard more. But now he's gonna have that. He's gonna have to have that vision to kind of, hey, you know what? I need to run this team. Slow it down. Know how to run the team. I think he'll do well. He's young and he's learning. So
Yeah,
I like his game a lot.
And I think he has a player like Johnny Yakubov next to him that could, be there to mentor
good
him.
point.
A
He
veteran.
has-
A veteran.
He has
exactly.
that. He was coached under Coach Ari, so he has like, he knows what's going on. You know,
Exactly.
he knows, hey, slow it down. You know, like don't rush everything. You know.
Yeah, but I think that team is going to be a good team also.
Number 9, we got Gold. They had a nice win last night. Aaron Matayev. I mean, I looked at his stats yesterday. 27 points. I think it was 10 rebounds. Shot like 8 of 12
Phenomenal player.
from 2
Very
and like
good player.
50% from
Phenomenal
threes.
player.
The one knock on Gold, Aaron Matayev's got to shoot more. I mean, I've yet to see a game where he doesn't hit at least 45% shooting. Shoot more. Let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see. Maybe you'll get more points and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of, if you have that talent, let's see it more of it. I think he can do it. I think he can average 30 a game. He's an amazing player. And obviously they have Daniel Chaim, Moshe Tzchakov with his welcome back. He wins. He's a great captain also. So I think they're going to be a good team. I like that team a lot. Number 8, we're going to go with Maroon. They're a tricky team because they don't really have a star. You know, I mean, they had a star 5 years ago, but we're not 5 years
Was
ago.
their
We're
team
now.
again?
That's the Koptiev team.
Okay.
They play with chemistry. They were
First
down.
of all, I want to give a big welcome back to David Koptiev.
Yes.
Love to
Yeah.
see it. Love to see him back. Love to see him balling.
Amen.
Everyone loves it. You know,
I'm happy he's
Happy.
I'm he's
Everyone's
back.
happy you're
I mean,
back.
I remember Nick was like, "Listen, can I get him in the 5th round? You know, just let me have him." I'm like, "Listen, I hope we made the dumbest decision by giving him to you in the 5th round. I hope he comes back to who he was
yeah.
and starts dominating. You know what I mean? But out of respect, we'll give him to you. But I really hope he comes back and starts dominating, and gives you the unfair advantage.
Yeah,
We're
it's
good
like-
with that.
It's
We
like
want-
bittersweet. Like we
Yeah.
want it. Like we want to win. But if we see him do well and come back,
That's the most
it's very
important thing.
sweet,
And
yeah.
It was nice to see. He had, I think he had 14 points. And he's a good defender. That team is good. They have chemistry already. They're starting out like in season 3. Like we're just starting out. They're already season 3. They've been playing for years. You know what I mean? So they can beat anyone. If you don't bring the mental smart game, I don't care how talented you are, you're not gonna beat them.
Correct.
So
on
I
any
think,
given night, they're the
More of a
highest
mental
IQ
game
team.
with them.
yeah,
It's
they're
more
the
of a
highest
mental game.
IQ team on every single night with that team. So I like that team a lot. Number 7, big shocker. We're gonna go with Black.
Whoa.
At number 7, Jason, David Niktalov.
Again, disclaimer: these are not my power rankings. I don't agree. I wore black in honor. No, I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Where do you think Black should be?
I'm leaving. No, you're wrong.
I will say this. I'm gonna say this.
I don't know. Do whatever you want.
This isn't really because of their blowout loss to you guys, as much as it is a few teams just rising up. A lot of people are saying Black doesn't have it. They're not gonna. No, the game means nothing. I mean, it means a little bit. It kind of exposes what we've all been saying about them. Defensively, they just don't have it. They don't. They're not that team. I said this to. I saw Rob on Ami Square on 47th Street, and I told him, I said, the biggest winners of round 1 is Johnny Barchov, Abe Kandachorov, Rob Koptiev, and Yuri Koptiev. They proved to us that Black's success last year was not only Jason. It was also, hey, we're gonna stick it down your throat. We're gonna box you out. We're gonna defend you lights out. We will like impose our will on you.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna score points, but we're also gonna out rebound you. We're gonna out defend you. We're gonna bring that grit. This year, Black, I don't see any of that. And I said this preseason. I said, and people looked at me as like, what is analytics? This is advanced analytics, guys.
Guys, advance that.
I would like to know who is setting that pick for Jason. I would like to know that. Last year you had Abe, you had Johnny. Was it an illegal screen? Was it not? I don't care. They pushed you while they set a pick, and it freed up Jason, and it gave him those shots. Who's doing that this year? I don't see a player who's going to say, you know what? I don't care how hard you defend Jason. I will set a pick that you cannot overcome. I don't see that. So who's going to free him up? It's a big deal in basketball. So I do think offensively, you know, it reminds me of a big shout out to the Knicks, guys. This is like the craziest Knicks basketball I've seen.
Yeah, in a
ever,
while.
Ever. I've never seen anything like this. To be down 20 in back-to-back games in Boston against the best team in the league and beat them.
Exactly.
I've never seen it. But you live and die by the three. Black is a shooting team. If they're not hitting shots, it's game over because they're going to give up 70 points. So they're going to have to score 75. And I don't know if that's going to happen in every single night. I think they're going to be over 500. They win a lot of games. But they have a big hole, which is a little bit concerning, a little bit. On to number 6. We're going to go with yours truly, Orange. Again, guys, don't come to me for this. I did not rate Orange.
You put him at 6?
I don't rate Orange.
I think it's
Eli Matatov.
I think we still have to see what they have to offer.
No.
What's your
no,
reasoning?
No.
He doesn't like Orange.
No, I mean, you should go higher.
I mean, listen.
You're a good team, bro.
I mean, there's
you
a lot
have
of good
basically
teams.
the same team that went to the finals last year. What is there not to like?
I mean, listen, we have to prove it, right?
These are your rankings. These are your.
I think you guys are a very good team. I might be slightly biased because I used to have the orange color. I used to play for that team.
Listen, we're a good team, but I want to say that the top 5 teams are also amazing.
Yes.
We have to put some
Phenomenal
respect there.
talent, yeah.
You guys have to understand something. When I make a team lower, it's not because I don't like the team. It's because another team overcame them. You know what I mean? So we have to look at the top 5 to understand why Orange is number 6. At number 5, we have Coach Ari. Talent-wise, I don't think they're number 5. I think they're lower. Eliran Elishayev having 26, 28 points is a large part due to Coach Ari. I'm not going to agree. I say that. I think it's the first time he's ever done that. He was utilized in a role which is fast break, get steals, and fast break. Steals, fast break. Reminds me of Mikey Elishayev when he was on Black. Similar, he was hitting shots. You know, when you're stealing the ball, you get this confidence to hit a 3.
Momentum.
You get this momentum. Like the Celtics shot 19 of their 20 shots in the third quarter of game 1 from 3. Like you're losing momentum every time you miss the shot. You have to like kind of knock it in there and play some old school ball. You guys played a really high press against Light Green, and there was no ball movement. I mean, I think they didn't do the right thing, but I think you guys also executed on a very high level. And you had the personnel, that Adam Arambayev trade. Bro, you won that trade by a million miles.
Yeah.
He's a rookie, and
I don't like using the word one.
What did you trade for?
No,
Moshe Samakov is a great shooter.
He's a great player. He's a good, but that benefited your team like crazy because he's a rookie.
He fits your team better.
He's a great defender. He's a great fast. He pushes the pace. The guy's athletic. He can shoot. He can drive. He can finish. He's a great piece to have on a team. You're not always looking for a star power. You're looking for a piece that fits in. You know, so I think that was a phenomenal trade on your half. And I think you guys are a scary team. You're going to come in with that grit. And again, that coaching ability is what sets teams apart. When you have a coach, you know this, we can get to you in a second. When you have a coach kind of dissecting the game, hey, this is working, this isn't working, what do we need to do to break what's going on? It alters the game.
Before you continue, I'd just like to make a comment that I think we see this year in, year out, the consistency of Ari being a phenomenal captain. I think it speaks of his brilliance. I'm telling you, I don't think people speak about this enough, and I come up to Ari every single year and I tell him, you build an amazing team every single year in, year out. That's what he does.
His team has always been great.
You know what the common denominator is? I'm not on the floor.
You gotta start playing, bro. You gotta start playing.
I tried.
You gotta start
Love
playing,
to have
bro.
you back, Ari.
You gotta get on the court, bro.
I did. They called the game. I got in. 30 seconds later, they called the game.
You should have gotten way early. You guys were blowing them out.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, some people, he likes to coach. You know what I mean? So whatever. We'll give it to him.
But I appreciate it.
At number 4, we have light blue.
Yeah.
Now, at number 4, light blue, right? People are saying you guys should be top 2.
Okay.
What do you think? What happened, right? We had you lower. You got this coach, this professional coach.
Mm-hmm.
You put them at 4?
You see, I'm more surprised. I put them at 4.
Who did you put on top of them?
We'll get to that in a second. You guys destroyed Black.
Yeah.
Did you guys practice that press? Like what happened there?
We came in with the game plan. under one leader. Quick shout out to my captain, Mike. Believed in the vision since day one, from the draft day, actually from the scrimmages, right? When I came back and we had that scrimmage right before the draft, he was looking at me, he was looking at Nathan, he connected us and he said, I know what I'm doing. I have a team that I'm envisioning, and I think you guys are going to be my stallions. That's what we go by the group chat, right? We have a group chat, and it says over there, stallions, right? He drafted a gritty team. He got us a coach. I think that's super underrated. He made a massive difference. I mean, if you watch the game, you can literally hear the coach in the background, screaming, press, defense, 2-2-1, get in the zone.
Yeah, he's
Ellie, get here.
he's a high school coach. He's an actual professional coach.
Yeah, he's there to keep us straight. Mike is a phenomenal captain. He believes in us. And one thing that our team has is we have a lot of love and respect for each other. If somebody makes a mistake, we say, listen, it's okay. Just get back up, play better, And I think we as a unit, we had one mission, one goal, that is to stop Jason, to play high-intensity defense on every single possession, and we got the win.
Yeah, I think the reason why I have you at 4 and not higher is because, first of all, it's one game, right? I've been in this league long enough to see so many blowouts. I remember light blue with Mike Kandahorov on the team blew out white like 65-36 or something. It was disgusting. And they were the defending champs.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make the playoffs that year. So, am I saying you're not going to make the playoffs? No. But what I am saying is one game doesn't determine everything. You know what I'm saying? We have to see more of it. You played a team with one ball handler, so press is going to work. Now there's film on your press. They pressed your team last year, and they created, not you guys, but Black did it. And it was the first time anyone ever did it. And they had a lot of steals, a lot of turnovers, a lot of fast break points the other way too. But we played Black the next game, and I remember I couldn't sleep at night because I knew Black would do the same thing to us. And they were very experienced. So I said, if they failed, and then I started looking at the film, and I said, wait a second, there's a big hole in the system. We're going to exploit that, and we're going to actually turn to our advantage. And Black did that, and we kept scoring. And we broke it in 2 seconds. So now there's film on you guys. I'm not saying it's going to be broken, but now we have the ability to say, hey, we're a little more prepared to see what you guys are going to bring to the table. So, and also another example, last year, Maroon, remember we had this conversation? Maroon scored 97 points in the first game.
And they shot like 90%.
And everyone was saying they're the best team. And I'm like, guys, I think I had them at like 5 that week. They lost the next, I don't know, million games. I mean, they were the worst team in the league. So, again, I think you guys will be a very good team because you guys are well coached. You have the personnel, the talent. You have a good leadership. But right now, I'm going to leave you at number 4.
And honestly, and I'll end off by just saying that I'm okay with us being at 4. I don't want us to be overhyped.
Nobody likes
I think
that.
you guys will see a lot of great games, great flashes from me, Nathan, and the rest of the team.
Yeah, you bulked up a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit?
I mean,
asked
a
him
lot.
if he's taking freaking steroids.
That's a massive compliment.
I asked him seriously, I'm like, yo, bro, can I ask you something personal? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, taking steroids? He starts cracking. He was like, yo, that's a compliment. I'm not. Like, I saw him, like, listen, you were athletic, but like, whatever. I don't want to get into.
You just got to hit the gym. That's what
if you guys watch him with a short sleeve shirt, you'll see what I
mean, it's a whole regimen. It's not just hitting the gym. There's a lot more to that. It's all science.
Eating right, whatever.
You have to eat right. You have to eat
I hit the gym here and there,
protein.
but I don't eat right. So
Whatever.
I'll look the way I look, and you look the way you look.
Listen,
Number
put you on the
3.
basketball court.
Number 3, we're gonna go with blue. Now there's too many blues. So there's light
Which
blue, there's light blue, there's blue, and there's navy.
Mhm.
Don't ask me again. Light blue, blue, and navy.
Yeah.
Blue is Ilan Shamsiev's team.
Let's call it true blue.
That's a good team.
Regular blue. There's too many blue. We're going with blue. Blue is Ilan Shamsiev's team. Okay, Eitan, not Eitan. See already. There's 2 Elans with blues. They're just confusing. Blue is
Yohananov,
Ilan
Yakov
Shamsiev. Chaimov, another big game. Yakov Chaimov, Salman Pirov, Shlomo Matatov is also very underrated. Very underrated. I think he's a tier 4 player. I don't know how he went so far in the draft. Very underrated player. They have Elon. They have Mikey Yonatan. They have a very, 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 you know what I like about that team? They have 6 starters, high quality starters.
Yeah.
So if one guy's off, the other guy's going to step up.
Yep.
They have, I mean, almost their whole team can go for 20 points. Easy. So they have a really good team. They have defenders. They have Yochananov is tall. One weakness I see on that team, they don't have a center. Yochananov is not a center.
He's their center though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the only. He's the
only big.
He's the only big. Which Salom Pirov, in my opinion, is a better big defender than him. He's more of a shot blocker, but if you put a guy with muscle on him, he's gonna shy away from contact. He's 6'4", but he's a skinny guy. You know what I mean? He's more of a small forward. So that's the only weakness I see on that team. Other than that, they're a phenomenal team. They were blowing out Maroon. Yeah, Maroon came back. It happens. They ended up winning that game. But they're a scary team. At number 2,
Yeah.
we're gonna go with the defending champs.
I think they should be in 1.
We didn't.
I
see
mean, 1
anything.
and 2 are really interchangeable.
I don't think they're going to be number 1. I think that again, teams are going to figure it out. Their run and gun style. They caught everyone by surprise. Teams figure it out, and I don't think it's going to be as effective this year. I don't think so. I think they're going to have a slump. Not because they're just not going to play hard, but because teams figured it out. When they don't run and gun, they don't score a lot of points.
I'm just saying, from last season to this season, I think they're on like an 11-game winning streak. Some
way.
crazy number like
that.
that.
They lost 1 game right before the playoffs, but like they're like 11-1 or 9
like that. They have a
8-1,
very
whatever it
it's
is.
like they're on a
Yeah.
very hot streak.
But it cooled down. I'm saying in the finals they beat us by 2. It was a close game versus light blue, but then they got tired out again, run and gun. They played an old team. Again, I think teams will start figuring out what they do, and when that happens, I think they will start losing a few games. That is, in my opinion, what's going to happen unless they figure out another way to play a great half-court offense, which we've yet to see. They don't have a lot of points when they play a half-court offense, so we'll see what happens there. At number 1,
Absolutely.
we're going to go with, and Gabby Lishai is going to kill me, we're going to go with Navy. It's funny. I think everyone can agree that they're top 2, right? You want to put them, whatever it is, they're top 2. Everyone agrees with that. They have a lot of talent. They didn't look so scary last night.
I
saw
think they
the way
had a
played.
horrible game. I think they had a horrible game, and they still won.
But I'm saying is that we haven't seen their best.
Yeah.
They won. We haven't seen their best. Can they figure it out? Maybe. I think
You
so.
saw that they actually ran a really cool play called double horn. That's what it's called, where they set up 2 guys in by the foul line. They had Eitan and whatever Rubinov
God.
run around and come out the screen, whatever, and they got Rubinov for an open 3, which
So
is
that's what they've been
That's like
doing.
a Golden State play, basically.
it's basically like a Golden State play. Yeah.
They've been having so many practices alone. Like we all scrimmage with one another. That's how we practice. They have their own, like they rent the gym. They have their own
Wow.
time.
They're dedicated.
They have their plays. Gabby didn't even suit up last night. He just came to coach. They have everything. The one little thing I think they're missing, which is little, is muscle. They need some. I mean, listen, it is when you're gonna play a team that likes to like pound it in and really be aggressive.
Like Eliron's team.
It's gonna be a struggle. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that's, again, it's a small weakness. But my point is they're beatable. That's what I'm saying. They have a lot of talent across the board. They have a lot. Avi Rubinov is back to his shooting ways. They have a great team.
Okay, and with that, I just want to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
First of all, who do you have 3 people in the final? 3 teams in the finals.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
You could say your own.
You could say your own.
I'd say my own for sure. I think Yohananov has a really good team.
Okay.
I think he has a really good team. And I don't want to discredit Teal. I think they're a great team also.
Okay, so
They
that's
won.
3.
They won.
You know,
the
no
chip.
team has ever repeated.
Yeah.
So teal,
I wanna
light
give him that
blue, and
respect.
blue.
I want to give him that respect. Yeah.
And 3 people for DPOI.
3 people for defensive player of the year. Danny Yusupov's got to be there. Gabby Khafisov's got to be there. Who's another? I mean, there's some really good defenders in our league as well. I'll either put me or Nathan Raff there, to be honest. I think we're great defensive players.
You have to pick one.
You have to pick one. I'll put Nathan Raff.
Nathan.
I'll tell you, it's very hard though to do that because usually when it's like both players, it's like, wait, which one of them? It kind of discredits both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid, but that's really what
And 3 for MVP.
3 for MVP. I would say Jason. You can never discredit. You can never take away Jason from that conversation. He's a phenomenal player. One of the greatest Bukharian shooters I've ever seen in my lifetime. Ariel Zrailov has a massive potential of getting MVP this year.
He does.
I think if they get a top 4 seed, I think he ought to be the #1 candidate for MVP. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have another superstar by his team, but he does have a good team, a deep team. And if he utilizes them correctly and you guys get into the proper power rankings, I think he should win MVP personally. He's a phenomenal talent. He's a former teammate of mine, actually. My boy, I love
yeah,
him.
Maroon.
We played on Maroon together. My
You,
boy.
Batil,
Yeah,
Nick.
I had such a pleasure playing with him. It was so much fun playing with him. I wish I had another season with him. But you know, every year there's a different draft, so whatever. But third player, Yochananov. Yochananov. He's a phenomenal talent. You know, if
Basically the first three picks.
So yeah, so the big three. Yeah, the big three.
They're the big
That's
three, yeah.
become.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, there you have it.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure,
Thank
guys.
you guys for having
See
me.
you next week.